almost came out about a week or two ago. The Marlins were looking for practice squad players to go ahead and face off against their low A team in Jupiter from April 1st to the end, around the middle of September, around $150 a day. So it was around from 12 to 5. You're making around $30 an hour, around 10 to 15 home games in between that. And really the main thing that really came up for this as of late was just the MLB pushing back against it, saying they can't do it. It's not going to happen. And really also, you could say the media reaction. There was a lot of media reaction, maybe some of it towards against it, saying that if the Marlins should just go ahead and sign players if they want them to face their low A team and not just get people who maybe are working 9 to 5 to come in and face the team, sign the players, give them health insurance. Those were some of the topics going up against this. Eli, talk to us about this practice squad. Was this just a bad idea from the start, or do you think maybe this could gain traction if there's maybe more of a well thought out plan behind this?
Yeah. The thing is, it never really had a chance the way that they described this because of rules that Major League Baseball really pushed for just a few years ago to shrink the minor leagues. That was the effect that it had when they limited the number of players you can have in your whole total organization. And that went in line with cutting out the short season level of minor league baseball. But even now, there's a firm number. I believe it's around 180. It might be actually a little bit lower than that. It might be down to 165 now in terms of the total number of guys you can have stateside across all your minor league affiliates. The Marlins were trying to skirt those rules in this way, where obviously these guys would not be assigned to the Jupiter Hammerheads or any affiliate, yet they would be part of the organization. They'd be employees, part-time seasonal employees, and making less total money. Oh, $150 per day for 5 hours. That's a good deal. But given the limited schedule, this would be cheaper than actual minor league players, and yet they'd be giving the team an advantage in a certain way. So that doesn't mean the idea could have value. It's just something that Major League Baseball itself has made it pretty clear that they don't want anything. They don't want this to be a part of it. They want the affiliated system to be a more exclusive area, to have a fewer in exchange for paying minor league players a lot more money individually than they used to make. There's less total players involved. And this would have been in a gray area for sure, that you're getting all these recently retired players or not, or in some cases ones that don't want to be retired, but just fell out of view and are trying to get their foot in the door somehow, get a way back in. So I understand why the Marlins were thinking about this. It's just that based on the reporting that The Athletic has done, it seemed that they rushed it without actually the people that actually involved in baseball operations would have known that this wasn't going to fly and wasn't going to get the job done. I do have something fun we can do, and it is very fitting that Alex brought up Lewis Brinson, because I had him in mind when I was filling out the questionnaire, which is still online. The questionnaire that was attached to this flyer is still online and still available for people that are interested in seeing what the Marlins had cooking here and what this process would have been like. You see some of the same information on the questionnaire that was on the flyer, 150 a day, noon to 5 p.m. And it's a pretty simple form that you fill out where you put your last name and first name. Let's say I'm a young man named Brinson Lewis right there. You give your email address for them to use, your phone number. That's actually a Marlins phone number that I found.
Let's say
anybody.
Keeping Lewis's number.
Yeah. What positions do we play? All 3 outfield spots. We have some versatility. College and professional teams you played for: Brewers and Marlins and Giants, the Yomiuri Giants.
You need a resume?
Then you attach a copy of your PDF, of your resume right here. So it's as simple as that. You go to the next page, and then there's some additional fields only for, progress has been restored. Hold on. Let me go. Oh, yes, here we go. So here's the next page. If you're a pitcher only, they have some additional details.
What would be your pitches, guys?
Yeah, in this case, I'm pretending I'm not a pitcher, but that's interesting. No sweepers on here. Maybe I'm a sweeper. No knuckleball either. Let's be a knuckleballer. Knuckleball, a 4-seamer knuckleball combination.
What if you just lied on this and you put, I throw 99, I throw all the pitches, like I'm really good, man.
That's why they have your resume.
Yeah. And this seems to be it. Your average fastball velo, and then you can enter the dates here. The last time you
your last bullpen.
Your last bullpen. Wow. Yeah, so that seems to be it. This form is the one that I found originally, and it is still online as of this is almost a week after the initial flyer went public. According to the reporting, the Athletic they did receive some. They received some responses. They just couldn't really do anything with them. So this is what they were looking at. Very simple sign up form right there. The timing was a little weird too, right? That it just came out very shortly before the start of the season. I would have thought that they would have planned this a little bit further in advance, considering that there's going to be minor league games in Jupiter 2 weeks from now or so, maybe 2.5 weeks. So I
think it was maybe more of a spur of a moment type thing. Maybe they all came together and they just thought about this idea. I don't know, we're practice squads. I don't know, news, maybe NFL, they hear practice squad, maybe getting that idea from there and wanting to put it into maybe a baseball type role. Do you think maybe this came more of a spur of a moment, or do you think this was actually thought about, before the winter meetings?
No, based on how simple the questionnaire there is, it seems like this came together super.
You did it on a Google Doc, for the love of God. Come on.
The interesting part is that they list that they'd be competing against the Hammerheads, which the Hammerheads, unless they loaded up that roster with like a lot of players and then just like had the guys that were off that day compete, like I guess that would make sense. But I mean, I didn't really get the fact that they were going to play against the Hammerheads.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Who have their own season going on. Like I didn't understand that part of it. It would make more sense if they were competing against FCL guys, especially early in the year before their season starts, or DSL guys if they wanted to bring them over and play some games there, I guess, before their season starts. That would make sense to me. But the fact that they listed specifically that they'd be playing against the Hammerheads, I was like, okay, so they're going to play against these guys and then go play at night in or actual game? Like, how is that going to work? So I didn't really understand that part of it, that they actually listed the Hammerheads. But I mean, moreover than anything is like, does this give, like, obviously the players that would be signing up for this, maybe they had a chance at the big leagues. A lot of them probably did. Maybe a lot of them never got a chance. Maybe they're UDFAs, undrafted free agents, whatever it is, that are just trying to make, a way and get their foot in the door kind of thing. But would this provide like an unfair advantage to the Marlins, who now have extended looks at these guys? They're paying these guys. They have them in front of analytical tools. Is that going to be an unfair advantage to another team that may unlock the next great undrafted free agent? And yeah, that's a possibility, especially if these guys have a commitment. So go out and scout players and do it the right, like not the right way, do it the way everybody else has to do it, rather than, I guess trying to kind of like, try to do the right thing for your system, but also kind of try to just like a loophole kind of thing, I guess I would say. So this is something I've never seen before. I'd never seen this before. You're actually getting paid to play against minor league players on a practice squad. It's something I've never seen before. I don't think we'll ever see it again. But I don't think it was well thought out at all. And I think the league was quick to shut it down, and I don't blame them.
Well, you also think about it, like, for example, JT Mabry recently got released. He doesn't sign anywhere else. And you tell JT Mabry, hey, join our practice squad, play it out. Maybe you could come back. Like, you can't do that, Like, that's like an example I'm giving. But I don't think this is very well thought out. Like, the idea in general seems cool when you kind of think about it. Like, a lot of guys who maybe didn't get drafted, like Carver said, out of college, they're going to take these $150 per day. Who knows what, you never know. I mean, you're going to this organization, more analytics, they get to see your stuff, whatever. And maybe, who knows, you turn into something pretty good and you'll get signed to the major league squad. But yeah, I mean, this would have to be multiple organizations wanting to do something like this, or the Players Association bringing something up to this, in their next CBA discussions to do something similar to this. But I highly doubt it'll ever happen. Marlins tried. I'll give them credit for trying, because this, in hindsight, it isn't a terrible idea, but it just wasn't very well planned out. And what Carver said, what you're going to make the players at low A Jupiter, play on a Monday, which is their only off day or something, like, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and like, why not just hire more scouts, right? Like, go scout the Pioneer League, go scout the American Association, like, hire more scouts. Yeah, I get that, in this setting, they would have more access to, like I said, right in front of their face, and it's analytical tools that they would have more access to. But hire some scouts. Go trust in your scouting team. Go scout these leagues where these players actually go, like the Pioneer League and the American Association and all of those independent leagues down there as well, some of which are MLB affiliated, a lot of which are independent. if you're going to do something like this, why not just hire more scouts? Whereas something like this, it didn't really make sense to me. Scouting is where these players, if you're going to find like a diamond in the rough kind of player like this, you need to scout them. And that's kind of what the Marlins are finding out now, is that this is not going to work. Maybe they'll hire more scouts. I think that's what they should do.
Yeah, it just seemed weird, especially the part where it says, approximately 10 to 5 home games, home game days, 12 to 5. So maybe they don't even have specific days. It seems like maybe just be ready from that time, 12 to 5, and we'll call you when we need someone to play. Come in a couple hours earlier to come in and prepare. It just seems like there's so many logistical issues here. You have to think about insurance. What if someone gets hurt? Are they going to be treated by the team? Food, everything, transportation, that everything needs to go on with the players. You can't just Marlins can't just sign Kevin and just be like, all right, come in and, we'll have you be a practice squad first baseman for, 10 times out of the season. We're not going to tell you which 10 times, but just be ready every day from 12 to 5, just in case we do call you. It just seems very flawed.
And a lot of these guys who would sign up for something like this have a job. Like, they have a legit job. So it's just like, you're not going to make them get out of their job. You're not going to make them get out of their job to, do this, which you never know what's going to happen. And you have to drive. Like, I can tell you, like, from experience, that drive is not a fun one. Having to go up and back an hour 30 every whenever you have to go up there. So it's definitely not well thought out. I mean, again, even a Google Doc, like, be a little better, like, there's a site that you can apply for jobs at a major league team. Like, let's do a little bit better than that. And throwing it on LinkedIn, trying to like kind of slip it under the cracks. Originally, that's what they tried to do. I mean, that's how it was found, and it wasn't even like the 305 Strive account. It was like a random Marlins employee that thought to throw this out there. So, yeah, not very well thought out in my opinion. But again, I see what they're trying to do.
It just seems weird. Maybe they couldn't even post it to the public. Maybe if they're go around and talk to maybe coaches of college teams, maybe they would have guys, or just maybe look at recently released guys from different, maybe a Pioneer League, a Frontier League, or maybe guys who are even overseas who haven't even gotten a shot yet in spring training or in pro, or guys who even went undrafted to look that, but really to publicly posted it. I don't know. That just seemed like the wrong move to just publicly put it out there. I'm sure there are private channels that the Marlins have to go from colleges or different, pro teams. You could have just picked up someone from the Savannah Bananas. Who knows? But it just seemed very, very the wrong way to go about it. Like Kevin mentioned, it seemed very last minute. And I don't think another team's going to have I don't think this will happen again. This was just a bad idea.